stop flowing. You may have problems with the post office. You're going to have problems with things like the TSA, Homeland Security, the IRS. So, it could be a dream come true in a lot of senses, but basically if that tap shuts off and everyone who is federally funded right now, meaning you get a check from the government or you receive some sort of benefit from the government, if the federal government shuts down, that spigot is turned off. And I think that you're absolutely right. That's where you're going to see the most discontent is the people who get cut off in a government shutdown. And, and that's when it becomes really important for people to be prepared because so many people are used to, and a lot of people don't realize how interconnected state and local governments have become with the federal government. There is a lot of commingling that goes on as far as provision of services and financial support is concerned. So if the federal government were to shut down for a little while, people have to realize that, it could be a very good thing because it would force states and local governments to be more self-sufficient, and then we would actually get a little closer to a bottom-up government than that we actually deserve. But I don't think that the transition would be a graceful one by any means.
No, you're absolutely right. John King, I know you got questions. Come on, man. Let them out.
Okay, thank you, Joe. What about those people that are going to get those IRS refunds after March 4th? 2 weeks later puts us out to March 18th. So if I'm expecting my check sometime in April, am I going to get it if the government is shut down, and how long is it going to take? And what is going to happen when that does not happen, when people, especially the poor, expecting those big returns, like some people that I know have gotten 8,000 plus. And also, question, what are you doing with your income tax return? Are you preparing with it?
Yeah, that's if you get an income tax return. Absolutely right. Now, Gwen, South Dakota is one of the few states, I don't even know if there's another state like South Dakota out there, that's actually running budget surpluses and are in a very good position to tell the government to go stuff it.
Well, there's been a lot of chatter about that. And our governor, we have a new governor, and I wasn't too thrilled about him because he was our former lieutenant governor, and I expected him to just be another 8 years of the same bull that we've been putting up with. And he went in and he said, you know what, we're not doing this. 10% cuts every department across the board, and we're going to start with 22% for Fish and Game. They cut across the board, and he just said we're not going there. So everybody can just tighten up their belts, and here we go, And one of the things too that I just want to say, just because I'm one of these people that is a solution person, and I'm telling you, it is going to get bad. And right now, what people can be doing is the grocery stores, they throw away day-old bread, Sam's Club, Walmart, all those places, they throw away or give away their crushed cans, out-of-date food, day-old bread. Go get that stuff and start storing it in your local churches and community centers so that there is food there to feed the people, for crying out loud. Go talk to your pastors. Start getting food stocked up in those places where they've got kitchens where they can serve food, first of all. Second of all, the issue of the government shutting down, I believe there are over 30 states that have already threatened secession. And I think that those states, South Dakota included, are prepared. I think we're prepared fiscally and and emotionally and everything else to do that if it all goes down. There are several states now that are printing their own currency. I think that needs to be encouraged. I think we need to be just blasting our legislators in every state to start doing our own money, backing it with whatever our local commodities and metals are, so that we are sound in the states, no matter what happens with the federal government. If we start, we won't have riots. What we'll have is roving gangs taking whatever they want. I don't think we're going to have riots like you saw in Egypt or like you're seeing in Bahrain and those places. It's just not going to happen. There will be a whole different set of circumstances here.
Yeah, no, I agree. You may have small communities kind of come together as far as like circling the wagons, I guess you could say. And I've always been a proponent of you can always prepare. Don't get me wrong, getting food is a very big priority to me. However, my number one priority among all else is brass and lead. As many bullets and guns as I can get my hands on, and as many people that I know that are well trained that can come together in a small, tight-knit group. Because in the event that I run out of food, I'll have the stuff to be able to do what I have to do to get it for my family and for my small group. And that's my number one priority. And it may sound a little bit sick, but really when you think about it, there's going to be a lot of people out there gunning for you. And there's going to be a lot of people.
It's going to be imperative, too, because we are not going to have, there will be a total breakdown in resources as far as you're not going to be able to call 911. You're not going to, the hospital staff aren't going to be available. They're going to be at home taking care of their families.
That's right.
We're not going to have those public services.
And there's a lot of things that people have to think about in these days and months as we move forward and things start to get worse, and it will get worse, folks. I hate to be somebody that is, let's just say a fear monger, because I'm not. I'm just telling it like it is. It's going to get worse. And the problem that we're going to see is you're going to have people come to your door or come onto your property, and they're going to be hungry and they're going to be looking for food. The question that you're going to ask yourself is, wow, well, what do I do? Do I give this person food for them to go back and tell whoever else they're with that that's where they got it from? And then you have a whole slew of people that are going to come and try to take your stuff. These are the kind of questions you have to give yourself, because the other alternative is you don't let them get away. And some people don't have the capacity to make that type of decision, and as much as you play it out in your head, when it actually comes down to actually doing what you have to do, it's a knee-buckling decision that will give you fits of almost drive you insane, because it goes against the human condition of being good, and I mean, when I tell you, folks, that this is going to be a problem unlike we have seen in this country ever, it's going to be just absolutely horrible. Tom, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment to the extent that most of the people listening to this show are people of the same mindset. And this is where they get their news. But there are some people out there, hopefully, that are on the edge, on the border of deciding whether or not this is right. And I'd just like to speak to them very quickly and say, listen, this is not gloom and doom. This is truly a message of love. Things are going to happen in this country that you won't believe, that you couldn't believe, and you need to get ready. What these people on this show are telling you are things that can help you get through it, because it's coming. I study the economy, I study the numbers, and I'm telling you, they don't add up. It's going to fall. And this is a time, while you can, to get prepared, because once the door shuts and things starts to fall, it's going to be too late.
That's right. The question, Margot, is silence consent in the eyes of the law?
Not always. And, I think from a philosophical standpoint, silence could actually be a form of dissent. And I would like to think that in a lot of cases, silence would be a form of dissent because you're simply choosing to opt out. You're not saying, yes, I agree, or no, I disagree. You're just saying, the rules, I reject the game. I'm not going to play, period. So you're not agreeing, you're not disagreeing, you're just rejecting the play. Now, how other people take that and how other people assume that are two different things. And so, I tend to believe that the law is already dead in this country, and that it is whatever someone says it is whenever you go to court, okay? So whoever's sitting on the bench that day, the law is whatever that person is in the mood for. And that's unfortunate, but I realize that it's an illusion and that, at this point, we don't have much longer. And, it's always darkest before the dawn. And I think that great opportunity lies in times of terrible hardship. And I think if you have the right mindset and you carry yourself with personal honesty and personal integrity, that really, at the end of the day, nothing can touch you, And you can put your head to pillow at the end of the night with a sound conscience. And if for some reason you don't make it through the crisis, at least you made it through with a pure soul. So, that's the way I tend to approach these things.
John King, your comments?
Yes, Margot, you're right. I believe silence can be dissent. I woke up this morning, I got onto YouTube, and I watched, some of you may remember Ray McGovern, a retired CIA asset analyst. He went to a briefing by Hillary Clinton, and he stood up, turned his back to Ms. Clinton, and stood there in silence and was manhandled and ejected forcibly from the meeting. And he was manhandled to such an extent he had to go be taken to the emergency room, and he didn't do anything. So anything other than yes, sir, today is considered dissent.
Preaching peace.
I agree, John. That's a great point.
Fantastic.
Preaching peace and cracking skulls.
And everybody that wants just type in Ray McGovern manhandled at Hillary press conference, and you should be able to watch the video.
Jesus said nothing.
That's right. He said nothing, too. When we come back, folks, it'll be the top of the hour. We'll have King's Court and continue our conversation with our panel. All that and more on Freedomlink Radio on the Intel Hub News Network. Stay tuned. Don't go away. You want things to go faster. It's just the beginning of the end. Now everything's too slow for you.
Are you still paying your credit cards and so-called bank loans thinking that you owe the money? Do you feel like it's your moral obligation but can't see an end in sight? Well, what if I told you that in truth, you don't owe a single penny, and that the banks know this and hope you don't find out? Here's where we come in. Free2Prosper.com specializes in a profound debt repudiation method which challenges the validity of your so-called debts, morally frees you from the burdens, and protects your property. Our system is often superior to settlement, bankruptcy, or consolidation, which often leave you in a worse situation. If you feel the moral obligation to take care of yourself and your family, then I urge you to consider taking action right now. The economy will not wait. If you want to know more so you can prosper through the economic collapse, all while staying honorable and true to yourself, then call 877-417-8393. That's 877-417-8393. Or visit Free2Prosper.com right now.
Hey, it's me, Shepard, the host of the Intel Hub. Check out my live show every Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can check it out from my website, theintelhub.com.